Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to our Journey Through the Real Book, number 181, which is the Inchworm by Frank Loesser. And this whole series of jazz piano lessons is designed to help you learn these standards in a way that you understand where they're coming from. So, this is what, a 16-bar tune with a little thing at the end that says solos, like a vamp. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot behind it. We can make some informed choices that may be the same as this, or maybe a little different. Let's see what happens here. So, the Inchworm was composed by Frank Loesser, great Broadway movie composer, of the sort of classic Great American Songbook era, sort of like Cole Porter, Gershwin, although a little later than them. And he wrote this tune in, 51. It says here 51, copyright 1951. And he wrote it for a movie called Hans Christian Andersen, featuring Danny Kaye, a very famous and popular actor of the time. And it's just a beautiful song. It's in the movie. Danny Kaye plays this storyteller, Hans Christian Andersen, who is writing children's stories. So this is a song. It's kind of like a children's song. Frank Loesser wrote it in the style of a children's song, and it's just bum, bum. Nice little waltz, like a lullaby kind of waltz, if you will, about an inchworm. A lot of children's songs are written about animals, or Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? So it's about this little, those little worms that sort of inch their way up the leaves or the trees, going a little bit at a time, right? And the melody kind of does that. And then it gets a little higher. So it just kind of goes up and then comes down a little like this little creature, right? And it's great. It's beautiful. So how did this tune end up in the real book, and why is it a sort of jazz standard? Well, John Coltrane. 2 words for that. John Coltrane. That's why we're playing it today. So Coltrane, we'll back up. He recorded it in 1962, but let's back up a year earlier. Coltrane was exploring modal jazz, where you vamp on 1 or 2 chords over and over again, right? He had recorded with Kind of Blue with Miles Davis in 1959, okay? So late 50s, modal jazz. And 2 years after that, in 61, he recorded My Favorite Things. And that's from The Sound of Music, right? And it's a children's song from the Broadway show and then the movie. And Coltrane recorded it. It's a waltz. And then he did like a vamp in the middle where he's just, he's sort of vamping on 2 chords with some little superimpositions of voicings. But in any case, he took this children's song that's in 3/4 time and made a vamp in the middle. That's what we have to know now. And it was kind of like a minor hit for him. It just got some notoriety. It wasn't like number 1 on the pop charts. But early 60s, the public still had some interest in jazz, as well as the newfound rock and roll, right, and bossa nova and whatever was happening in the late 50s, early 60s. And Coltrane sort of had something that resonated with the public, okay? Think about it. Children's song in 3/4 time, jazzing up a children's song, jazz waltz, and going into like a modal section where he's just vamping on 2 chords for a while. Right? All right. Well, the music industry being what it is, they like a formula. They like saying, okay, this sold some records, it brought people to Coltrane's performances, let's do it again. Find another kind of children's song in 3/4 time, put a vamp in it, and we'll start performing it and recording it. And Coltrane did it again in 61 with Greensleeves. Which was English folk song, right? He did. Great version by Gil Evans, and Kenny Burrell, the guitarist, did that too. So Coltrane did it twice in 61. Children's song, jazzed up, waltz, vamp. Then in 1962, they're looking around for another one. I could just imagine them saying, what else are we going to do? What's another children's song? Well, the Danny Kaye movie, Hans Christian Andersen, was what, a decade old at that time, you know? And it was still in the public consciousness. It was a very big favorite of a lot of kids, a lot of families. A lot of parents were watching it with their kids. They knew this song, The Inchworm. I was born in '64, and so 2 years after this. And I remember, not this, but I remember the movie would come out. My parents, you know, probably like 1969, 70. I was like 5, 6 years old. My parents were like, oh yeah, you got to watch this. You know, Hans Christian Andersen, Danny Kaye, it's a wonderful movie. And, you know, so I watched it in front of our little black and white TV, right? So this song was big at that time. Everybody knew this song. And so that's what they did. They applied the formula that they had used for My Favorite Things and Greensleeves to this a year later. And they took this straight ahead ballad, sort of ballady 3/4 slow waltz, gentle waltz, and they jazzed it up. And then they just did a vamp. And Coltrane, you know, instead of F major 7, E flat major 7, they made them dominant 7s and 13s in this case. And he could do his pentatonics and taking it out, whatever he wanted, extended solo, you know? And Coltrane's group was very high energy, it was exciting, it was sort of taking this song and bringing it to a different place, which jazz musicians have always done with popular songs. So that's sort of the background of this. And you can play it exactly like Coltrane did if you like. It's wonderful, you know? I tend to like to meet the original intention of some of these songs halfway. I don't always do that, but this one, I think it had such a gentle charm, you know, the way Danny Kaye sang it and the original intention. So I don't necessarily like to throw out the major 7th chords. You know, I like to play the vamp, but with major 7th chords. So instead of the dominants, you know, I'll do. Still make it a jazz waltz, but I kind of like that sound. I don't want to get rid of that personally. So I feel free to alter these a little bit, right? I also like improvising on these chord progressions. You know, I like it when it goes F major 7 to F dominant 7 to B flat minor. I like that. I like improvising on that. I don't want to just throw that out. So when I play this, I tend to do a little bit of everything. You know, I'll improvise on the chords and then I'll do the vamp, but I tend to keep it to major 7th chords. Just what I like to do. I also like to bring a little lighter feel. Sometimes I'll get a little more rhythmic and dig in, but not all the time. We'll see. And just today, I've never done this before, but for a little intro, I've been thinking like out of tempo and inverting this major 6th rather, this upward major 6 interval, instead of going C, A, start on the high C and go down to A, which is a minor 3rd, you know. Or that's what it would be. So it would be, you know, and then just sort of see where that takes me and come down and then maybe go into the waltz. I don't know, maybe play this out of tempo, I'm not sure. But I'm definitely going to start with that intro, just because it's sort of going in my head. I want to see how I can get into the tune with it, and then improvise on the chords, and then the vamp probably at some point, but well, let's see. You know, now I know why Coltrane would go on for a long time, you know, on these kind of vamps, because they're just so much fun. You don't even need to do a lot. It's just like... You know, it's just like a groove, like a dance kind of groove. Just go on, and then, you know, how do I get out of it? You know, that's the fun thing. So I invite you to check out this tune, and, you know, look at the movie clip from Christian Andersen. You know, it's great. It's just a beautiful classic thing. You know, it's not necessarily jazz, but we're drawing from all things, right? Music is music. And then check out Coltrane's version, definitely. But also check out Greensleeves and My Favorite Things. Those other tunes I was talking about that he did, these children's songs he did in 3/4 time and jazzed them up and put vamps in and stuff. Also check out the Kenny Burrell, Gil Evans version of Greensleeves, which is just unbelievable. The subtle orchestration that Gil Evans did. Kenny Burrell's great guitar playing. So again, notes on a page in the real book can lead us to a whole study of these kind of tunes. Or if you know another tune, you know, it's similar to Someday My Prince Will Come, right? Another jazz waltz based on tune, was it Snow White, I think, Disney? So maybe that's where they got the idea from these. I never thought about that before right now. In any case, good luck with your playing. Have fun just going through these tunes, playing them at whatever level you're at. Whether it's the melody, that's how I got started, playing the melody, and then the chords, and then you do a simple improv. Don't compare yourself to people who've been playing forever and are, you know, especially like, you know, people compare themselves to Keith Jarrett. Like, why can't I play like Keith Jarrett? I'll never be able, you know, and it can be paralyzing at times. You know, I've had comments on some of these videos saying, you know, I listened to Keith Jarrett, someone said, and then I just don't even want to play. No, it's the other way around. Get inspired, get inspired. Remember, even with someone like Keith Jarrett, you're only hearing the recordings he wanted to release. I mean, he's a great player, right? So there's going to be no bad Keith Jarrett performances. But you're hearing the best of the best of the best. We can't compare ourselves to that all the time because we all play in a way that has these peaks and valleys, right? And you just keep going and grow as a musician over time. You want it to be going up gradually, even if it's kind of like that, right? It's not going to be straight up. So that's a false expectation. And it's never even occurred to me to expect that. Just have fun, go through these tunes, and keep at it and keep growing and listen to as much as you can. So thanks for being here, and good luck with your playing. I'll see you in the next video.